How's it going, everyone? Jordan Andino here from my awesome kitchen in Long Island City. Hope everyone's doing well, being safe and healthy at home. So what we have here is a really fun recipe that people, honestly, all around the world love to make. It's particularly great in France because, honestly, the French just came onto something here that I love, and I've just, for my entire life, have just dove into in every single menu all around. And what is it? It is moules frites. What basically that means mussels and fries. I didn't highlight, for those of you that are just tuning in, I didn't highlight any of the fries element because you can get frozen fries here. The onus and the flavor and really where you're gonna build that amazing dish is actually in the mussels and the broth. So for my fries, I'm just gonna take some potatoes, cut them up into some long strips, and voila. But frozen fries work just as well. So let me quickly log on and make sure that I can see you guys. What I want to do is, anyone that is tuning in, please forward your questions to my computer right here. And what I'm going to do is, I'll answer them while we do this whole thing. All right, there it is. So I see everyone. We're logging on. You guys can see me in my kitchen. Hope everyone's doing well. For those of you that are just tuning in, my name is Chef Jordan Andino. I'm the executive chef and owner of Flip Sigi here in the West Village. It's a Filipino taqueria. So if you imagine like Filipino or fast casual Filipino taqueria. So it's like sandwiches, tacos, bowls, and burritos with a little Mexican kind of vessels with a little bit of Filipino love sprinkled all about. It's something that's been open now for 4 years, and it's my pride, it's my joy, it's my baby. But prior to that, I'm French and Italian trained actually. I've worked in some good restaurants all around the country, from very brief stage here in Jean-Georges in New York City, as well as Spago in LA, and the French Laundry in Napa Valley. So, you know, cooking, it to me is just something that I love doing. It's something that it's in my blood. My first ever dish that I've ever cooked for anyone, I was 9 years old. It was an apple crostata with a cinnamon ice cream, vanilla cookie swirl, homemade caramel. I mean, all of it from scratch. I was 9 years old. And that's pretty much when I knew I wanted to be a chef. So I'm bringing you here to my lovely home, and I'm going to be making some fun stuff for you today. So we are going to be making moules frites, which literally means mussels and fries. And for the fries element, that's kind of secondary here. I really want to show you guys how to draw up that amazing flavor from mussels, and I want to make sure that you guys can understand that the broth is really where that flavor is built. So on the fries element, I just got some small mini Yukon Gold potatoes here. I'm just going to cut them up, toss them with some oil and salt, and then call it a day. But everything else here, I want to show you kind of why the ingredients work together, how to use them, how to properly prep it, and really get this going. All right, so first things first, I want to make sure you guys have all your stuff with you. I got a bowl, or actually it's about a cup of white wine right here, some parsley, garlic, onion. In this case, you could use fennel or celery. For those of you tuning in from like my own Instagram page, which by the way is @fork_knife. So my name is Jordan Andino. I own Flip Sigi, and also if you want to follow me on any social media handles, it's fork_knife. Fork knife. So some of my followers are actually probably going to be tuning into this. You can actually use fennel or celery. I like the flavor that both give. So I have some celery heart right here, but fennel works just as well. Then we have 2 lemons, some potatoes, half a pound of butter. I know it sounds a lot, but believe me, this is where the flavor is. Unsalted butter. Now, I gotta say, probably most of the questions I get have to do with butter. When to use it, how to use it, clarified, not, ghee, and also salted or unsalted. A lot of people always ask, they're like, all right, salted, unsalted butter, when, how, where, why? I'll make it plain and simple for you guys. I'm not a baker. I love cooking, but I can tell you that baking is a science. Those people are true artists. I only pretty much ever use unsalted butter. I love the flavor that it gives, but the problem with salted butter is that the more salt you use, the more salt in a butter that is there, you can't really control the flavor that you're inputting into whatever you're making. So if salted butter tastes good to you, some people might consider that not salty enough or too salted. So I like to control it from the get-go. So I have unsalted butter here, and then I'll season and develop layers as you go. Well, with that being said, I want to kind of also dive into the equipment that you need. The beauty about this dish is you only need 3 things. Knife, cutting board, that's basically one because you can't, you should always use a cutting board with a knife, and you can't use a cutting board without a knife, so on and so forth. Next up, we have a pot right here. This is kind of a standard 6-quart pot, 4-quart pot. I like it because the rivets and the handles have no plastic on it, which means if I ever want to braise something, I can go from stovetop to the oven and braise it. So that's something that I always, as a chef, I like to have. So if you have any of these or you're shopping right now while you're at home, I highly recommend, especially on Amazon, I highly recommend getting a pot like this that has no rubber so that you can go in and out of the oven. Next up, I have obviously the lid, and then we also have, last but not least, just a baking sheet, because that is where we're going to cook our fries, and a mixing bowl. So I guess that's 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So we got a mixing bowl. We got everything ready to go. I think we should probably get into this recipe. So if any of you have any questions or anything, please feel free to ask. I have some questions over here and some comments. So if you have any of that, please forward them over here, and I'll kind of answer them as this video continues. Let's see. Amazing shirt again. Thank you. Whoever tuned in last time saw that I had a Hawaiian shirt. I love my Hawaiian shirts. This is something that I kind of just, I don't know, something about Hawaiian shirts are fun. It feels like it's my personality and that I'm wearing it, so thank you, respect. Next up, we got another one saying hi. Hi, everyone. And then, can we go eat again at my restaurant? Yes. For those of you just tuning in, my name is Jordan Andino. I'm making mole frites here on Amazon.com/live, and I am the chef and owner of a restaurant here in New York City called Flip Sigi. It's a Filipino taqueria. It's like Filipino food in Mexican vessels, and if you want to follow me on any of my social media handles, just go to fork, right here, _knife, fork_knife, and you can catch up with me, my happenings, and as well as my restaurant. All right, so any secret seasoning you use besides salt on fries? Great question. So today we're making mole frites, so mussels and fries, and someone just asked, what do you do to season potatoes or fries, in this case, that isn't just salt? I'll be honest with you, whoever asked that, great question, number 1. Number 2, it's salt, unfortunately, because you need to draw out whatever flavor naturally comes from a potato. So I would say that you got to throw some salt on there to give that starch, because potatoes are truly just 100% starch. You got to give it some flavor. So salt, definitely necessary. If you want to go crazy, seasoned salt is really good. There's a great brand of kind of like seasoning topping called Slapio Mama, which is really good. Green bottle, delicious. Also recommend that. Also, different types of oil will kind of help, but nonetheless, you still need salt. So if you want to use coconut oil when you're cooking it, great. You'll have a hint of aromatic, beautiful coconut, but at the same time, you also need some salt there. So great question. Keep them coming as the cook continues. So as you can see at the bottom of my carousel, I have 3 books, and then if you continue sliding, there'll be a 4th one as well. Want to quickly outline those before we dive into the recipe. Right here, I have probably my most trusted cookbook that I refer to get inspiration, and it just so happened to be a place that I worked at. At the time, it was the best restaurant in the world, the French Laundry Cookbook. Chef Thomas Keller is someone who trains some of the best chefs all around the world, actually not some, a lot. And he's someone that I revere and respect, and I want to try to emulate in my own career. So gotta have his cookbook to kind of, stay with greatness. Next up in my carousel, you'll also see Michael Pollan's book, In Defense of Food. I love the way he thinks. I love the way Michael Pollan dives into where we eat our food, why do we eat things certain ways, and also the health benefits as well as supply chain kind of logistics that goes into how we eat as a community and a culture. So I definitely would highly recommend that as well. Next up, another one from Thomas Keller. It's called Under Pressure. It's a sous vide cookbook. For those of you that don't know what sous vide is a cooking technique where you vacuum seal, or not even vacuum seal, just try to create an airtight anaerobic environment for any sort of protein or vegetable. You then put that into boiling water, and typically you have something called a circulator that heats the water to a certain 100th of a degree. So by doing so, you can get things cooked perfectly, and that way they won't actually overcook. So if you want to set a piece of steak to 140 degrees or 135 degrees Fahrenheit, you can do that and it stays there for hours. However, proteins eventually denature. I'm not going to go into the science of that. But go ahead and read the book because it's all there. Last but not least, I don't have the book on me right now because it's currently holding up my bed because when I sat on the bed, the leg broke. But I love to read, probably read it 3 times now, and it's one of the most accurate depictions of cooking and kitchen life. Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. It's something that is one of the first books about the kitchen world that I read. Yes, I started young, but just reading it, and no one has ever depicted and properly conveyed what a kitchen is like more so than Anthony Bourdain in that book. It's relevant, it's poignant, it's relevant, it's poignant, it's amazing, thoughtful, and something that, you know, I also kind of want to do maybe write a book someday. All right, anyway, let's go. You guys all tuned in for the cooking, so let's get into it. First up, I got my pan here. Let's turn on, we're making moule frites today, so mussels and fries. So I'm going to turn this on to, let's go to medium-high heat. And here's the thing, a lot of people, whenever you're cooking at home, if I turn this on, everyone's going to say, oh no, watch out, it's going to explode, it's going to get too hot. No such thing, okay? No heating element in a household will ever be able to heat this pot to the point where it melts or explodes or catches fire. So I'm just going to let this go. It's going to get super hot, but that's okay because high heat means you can caramelize and char and build flavor and build and develop flavor. So with that being said, we have this on medium-high. I'm going to let that really come up. And next up, I'm going to get some dishes here so I can put all of these cut. Once everything gets cut, I can put all these ingredients into those dishes so my station and my kitchen stays nice, neat, and organized. Something that I recommend for you at home. Make sure when you're cooking, you chill, you work, and you clean as you go. In kitchens, we call it K-go. I don't really use that, but clean as you go, definitely got to do that, right? So, I'm going to go in my cupboard. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ingredients. So let's bring out 6 different bowls. I got one here for my fries, and then some smaller ones for the smaller ingredients, and then even smaller for even the smaller ingredients. And I think it's time to rock and roll, guys. There's everything. All right. So, once again, making moule frites, mussels, and fries. Let's first concentrate on the fries element. Let's get those done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel these potatoes. Got right here. Fun fact, this is called a acumen peeler. This is the best peeler in the world. It's light, it costs $1.99, and it lasts forever. So highly recommend that you go and get this because this is what all chefs use all around the world. Literally. I've seen kitchens around the world. This is what they use. It's crazy. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to peel this potato, okay? So what I'm going to do, as you peel potatoes, there's a couple things you got to realize. Number one, the type of potato does actually matter. So for those of you at home, you're thinking, why not get a russet or difference in Yukon Gold or even a sweet potato or a red bliss? And there's probably 20, 30 more that I can't even name myself. I would say that the type of potato really depends on what you're going for. Some potatoes have more moisture than others, thus affecting how you cook it and why you would cook it. So an example there is like gnocchi. You might want to use something that has a little bit less moisture retention because you don't want gnocchi to have too much actual water in it. Otherwise, the pasta is not going to hold and it'll be very gummy. But then you have also these Yukon Gold, which are really good and give great flavor when fried and just served by themselves. So, it just depends on what you're using. But I typically wouldn't use, say, a Yukon Gold for a baked potato. There, I would use a russet. And if I'm talking about like a hash, I'm using red bliss. So it just kind of depends on, what you're making. And that will determine the type of potato that you use. So, as you can see, I just got through 2 of these potatoes right now. Cooking tip at home. I actually leave, some people have like a disposable bin right here where you kind of put all of the trash and waste that you use from your food. I don't do that. I actually just keep my garbage. You can't see it. It's off camera to my left. But my garbage is always open whenever I'm cooking. That way I can just dump and throw, and that way my entire station stays clean. So I definitely recommend that move right there because you don't realize that when you're cooking, everything gets messy because you just leave disposable waste from the food right on your cutting board and you don't know where to move. So you just find the next clean space and use it. You kind of want to always stay in the same place to make yourself more efficient. All right, so while I do this, let's have a look at some of the questions that are coming in anymore. All right. Where am I from? So I'm from, wait. Oh no, I read that wrong. My apologies. My apologies. That was not a question. I don't know where I read that. I'm sorry, guys. Pardon me. That must have been something else. Another notification on my computer. All right. So once this is going, we're going to get these into a julienne. So defining cuts here. A julienne is a 2-inch by 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an eighth, geez, 1/8 by 1/8 by 2 inches, like a matchstick almost. So we're going to go like we're going to cut this into a julienne type of cut, but it won't be that small because, you know, we want to have like a nice bite when we're eating our fries along with our moule frites. So I'm going to cut these into like, let's call it a large matchstick so that, you know, there's something to grab on and the potato can kind of cook evenly without burning, okay? So I also have my oven right behind me. This is at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So I like to bake my fries instead of like deep frying them because I'm not necessarily a health nut, but I do like to eat as healthy as I can when I can. So I would definitely say baking is better than submerging this in oil, obviously, if you kind of think about that. All right, so any more questions here?
Shane, we do not have Amazon Live in the UK.
Oh, no way. No, you don't have Amazon Live in the UK? That's crazy. Well, listen, if you guys want to tune in for more kind of recipes and stuff like that as well, Amazon Live. Amazon.com/live is great. You can also tune into my own account at fork_knife for some fun recipes and more videos just like this. All right, so here's what we have. We got my bowl, which I have, trusty bowl, down here. And then I got my fries. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these into rough planks. So a plank basically means something that looks like this. So you can see it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. It's like it's like a segment of a potato. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to first cut all my potatoes into those planks. So this is definitely something that I recommend for you at home. Whenever you're cutting, you know what? Also, whenever you're cutting, use a sharp knife, because I just so happen to grab my kind of more utility, not as sharp knife. Whenever you're cutting, most of the cuts that happen at home happen because the knife isn't sharp enough. And what that means is as you're cutting, your knife kind of swoops somewhere because you're trying to put too much pressure because it's not cutting the way it's supposed to. So highly recommend you keep your knife sharp. And funny enough, but in kitchens, most people cut themselves on dull knives, not sharp ones, if you believe that, because it's true. All right, so we're going to cut these into planks. And then I'm going to show you, watch this. I'm going to show you how to turn these bad boys into some fries, okay? So we got these cut here, putting them, and notice I'm cutting everything at once and then going on to the next stage. So instead of cutting one potato and then turn that into a fry, you work in stages. That's how chefs work in kitchens. That's how I recommend you work at home. By doing so, you get to really be more efficient and enable yourself to work cleaner as well. All right, so everything's now cut into planks, as you can see on my cutting board. So let me move this so that you guys can actually see. There you go. All right, so everything's kind of into planks, as you can see on my cutting board. So what I'm going to do now is make my fry shapes. So I'm going to probably cut each one only maybe 3 times. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's it. All right. So once they're cut, I'm going to throw them in my bowl. And you're looking for nice fries like that. Okay. You don't want them too thin, but you also want them too thick. So I'm going to just get my fries going. And let's cut all of these. And what the beauty of a fry is that it doesn't take much. You're just going to cut it up, toss it with some oil, and then season it with some salt, and you're good to go. But keep in mind, I'm also going to season it when it comes out of the oven, so I'm going to season it twice. So before it goes in the oven, I'll season it probably to like 75%, and then I'll finish that last 25% once it comes out of the oven. And by doing so, in case you're wondering, I do that because I want the salt to obviously permeate and really get into the potato, but at the same time, I want to leave some time to see how the potato reacts and if there's a lot of natural flavor there. So I don't want to season it too much and really overtake it with salt, and thus it masks the natural flavor of a Yukon potato. All right, what else do we have? Do the oven fries still get crispy? Great question. So, the person asked here is, do oven fries still get crispy? They don't get as crispy, but depending on your patience and what you do to them, you can get them as close as you can to nice crispy fries. So here's how we remedy that. So right now I have all of my potatoes in here, and you can see I got lovely little fries going like this. Woohoo, perfect fries. So here's how I'm gonna try to get them nice and crispy. So instead of submerging them in oil, I'm gonna toss them with a good amount of oil. I'll say I got some blended vegetable olive oil right here, and I'm gonna put about 1/4 of a cup, and I'm gonna toss it, okay? So what that's gonna do is, it's gonna make sure everything gets coated, and that oil is really what helps crisp everything up. So I'm just gonna really coat everything and make sure that they're tossed without being, fully dressed with too much oil. Otherwise, the whole healthy part goes away and might as well just fry them. All right, so once these are here, I got my pan with some tin foil. I have a little bit of oil on here just to ensure that these fries don't stick. So I got my pan here, covered with oil. All right, so I'm just gonna take my fries, put them on the pan, but first let me wash my hands so that I can get some salt on them. Probably gonna wash my hands a couple of times. But keep the questions coming. These are great questions, and at home, I'm sure everyone's going to be cooking a lot more right now, so I would definitely say feel free to ask away, because how often do you have a chef that you can kind of just throw questions at, all right? Would spray oil work? Great question. So someone just asked, would spray oil work? I would say no, because those small little particles aren't enough to truly coat the fries, because then you have to use probably half the bottle. So in this case, spray oil for the base of this roasting rack, absolutely. Spray oil for the fries, that's a no-no. Use actual oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil, soy oil, whatever, but just use oil for the fries. The base, yeah, you can spray away so that it doesn't stick. All right, got some salt right here. Some Greek sea salt. So I'm gonna season it, probably gonna put about a tablespoon actually, just because, or about a teaspoon, sorry, because fries really need some love. All right, so I just tossed that up. I'm gonna put this now directly onto our pan and get it in the oven. All right, so fries for the moule frites are ready. You guys can see they're all down, spraying them out evenly, trying not to get them to stick, because what happens if they stick together like this, what ends up happening is the fries, they'll steam like where they stick. So you wanna have them kind of individually away, like, in their own little solo areas on the pan, so that they're not sticking together. That way all sides of it crisp, the bottom, top, and side. All right, so that's good right now. Let's rinse our hands off real quick. Might be some excess oil there. And also, so here's something that I learned, especially in, so I live in New York, so apartments are a lot smaller. I'm gonna run over, I'm gonna open, I love to have a balcony door. So at home, if you're doing this with me, open your windows, because remember, this pan is going hot right now. Open your windows, turn on your fans, and just make sure that there's some sort of circulation so that the fire alarm doesn't go off, all right? All right. So I got my balcony door open right now, so that way all this smoke can kind of just flush out when I start sauteing things. I got my seasoned fries right here going in the oven at 450 degrees. Should take about 30 minutes, or basically right at the end when we plate. All right, so that's gonna be nice and good, looking great. So now that our pan is nice and hot, I'm gonna bring it down to medium, just because I wanna really get that same heat, but I don't wanna, let's call it smoke or get too crazy here. Like I said, sometimes unsafe. I just wanna make sure that it's hot. So we got it to medium high. We're gonna cut these up and then we'll throw them right in. So I turned that down to medium. Now let's start going on our first. We'll go with our garlic cloves. We're gonna do a mince. Not even a mince, I would say just a rough chop. So I'm gonna use the tip of my knife, and I'm just gonna cut like so. So first, the first round of cutting, I'm just trying to get these really fine, garlic slices, okay? So a chop is when you just go up and down and make that chopping sound. That's what a chop is. So I'll do it again for you here. All right, and I'm using the tip of my knife because that's when you can get the more finer cuts. And then once they're all sliced like that, I'm gonna run back through it the other way, and then that's kind of where the rough chop comes. Now that distinctly is different than mince because when you mince something, you're cutting it to the point of some of the juices are starting to kind of come out of it. So I don't want it that small because I want this garlic to kind of permeate and I want it to crisp up and I want to have that strong garlic flavor. So I'm really gonna just only run my knife through it maybe like 5 or 6 times and that's it. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna put in my ramekin over here. Small little ramekin for my garlic. It's my garlic house. Mini garlic bowl. There you go. Like so. All right, so we got our garlic ready to rock. Perfect. Okay. This is fun. Hope you guys are having fun with me. All right, so if you're just tuning in, my name is Chef Jordan Andino. I'm making moules frites, which means mussels and fries in French. The fries are in the oven, and now we're going for our mussels time, all right? So we got our garlic right here, 2 cloves. Next up, I got half an onion that I'm gonna dice. A dice is a 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch cube. So here, I'll show you how to do that. So I got half an onion. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first cut right across, probably just 1 layer, this way. And then from here, I'm gonna then cut in the center my 1/4 of an inch dice. And then cut it perpendicular to that cut. So what I just did was I made sure that everything is nice and square because here's the thing. When we're talking about onions, you want to make sure that all cuts, or just cooking in general, you want to make sure everything's as even as possible because the more even it is, the better that everything is kind of cooked thus evenly, and thus the better the flavor it is. So I guess more homogeneous and consistent the flavor is. I think that's a better way to put it. All right, so we got our onions here, nice little perfect dice. I'm gonna put them in my bigger ramekin here. Okay. After this, we're now gonna go into our fennel or celery. So in this case, I use celery. Fennel works just as well. I think honestly it doesn't matter either way. It just kind of depends on the type of flavor you want. So I'm just gonna take my celery, cut off any of the old ends, and I'm just gonna go straight here. And because celery has kind of a light, delicate flavor, I'm only going to use like the hearts here and only going to use probably about that much of it, if you can see. All right, any other questions? Is this a new thing on... Oh, here you go. Look at this. A bunch of people coming on. All right, so we got... Hey guys, just discovered live. Yeah, so this function, I don't know how long it started, but Amazon.com/live has so many different things from workouts to fashion to just general talks as well as cooking. So make sure you tune in because everything on this platform is amazing and super fun and involves a bunch of good friends of mine too. So if you're just tuning in, we're making moules frites. My name is Chef Jordan Andino. This is the base to the sauce of the moules frites. I'm gonna be cutting this, just a small little chop of celery, just the hearts, and I wanna make sure that I cut this nice and thin, but not too crazy. All right, so now our celery is looking good. All right, put that off to the side. I'm gonna put the celery into our other container, and then we're gonna cut our lemons in half, chop up our parsley, and we're gonna be ready to go. The beauty about this dish is that it is so quick and easy to make. It's crazy, it's crazy. Like, I would say that this dish, like if you really wanna bust out real quick, I think you can do all of this in like 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, if you got a good knife for this. All right, so next up, we got our lemons. I got 2 right here, 1, 2. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them right here. My lemons and my butter are gonna go in at the same time, so I'll put that in my bowl. So I got 2 lemons, I'm gonna juice that. All right, what else do we got? Where do you go to shop for mussels? Great question. So where do you go to shop for mussels? If you guys live in, actually pretty much anywhere, mussels are getting more love recently. So if you live in any coastal area, actually if you live really any grocery market, Whole Foods definitely carries them. I got these at a place in New York called Brooklyn Fare. I think anywhere that takes food seriously, you'll be able to find mussels there for sure. All right, so next up in this little ramekin, I'm gonna put my parsley. So I rinsed off my parsley, and I'm probably gonna put about 1/4 cup, roughly. So by volume, that's about 4 ounces. Now here's the thing, or by weight, that's about Yeah, 4 ounces. It just the kind of two kind of depend. But anyway, I'm now getting all chefy. All right, we got some parsley here. I love flat leaf parsley. I'll say that when you use Italian curly leaf parsley, it becomes better. It gets like grass, but grass that doesn't taste good, like that. It gives a nice herbal, grassy note, but it's not subtle. It's kind of in your face and pungent, and it's not good. So I typically will always push someone to get flat leaf parsley, just like this. And you know, I'm not afraid of stems. It just depends. If you're like the stem of a parsley, you know, some people don't like it. I would say fine dining chefs frown on it because you just only want that leaf, which I totally understand. But you know, for us at home when we're cooking, just use the stem. You know, like I'm not going to say use only this part of it, but you know, when you're cutting this and you get some of this stem in it, it's okay. You know, nothing's going to go wrong. So don't waste your time by kind of picking off all the leaves. All right. All right. Let's see. Keep the questions coming though, because these are great questions. I hope you guys are having fun tuning along. We're making mole frites. I'm Chef Jordan Andino. This is my lovely apartment. I live in New York City, and now we're going to chop up our parsley. All right, so here's what I got. I'm going to take my parsley. I'm going to line it up, and if you notice kind of how I'm cutting, right? As I cut, I lead with these 3 fingers, and I use these 2 to pinch and kind of keep everything together. And then I kind of guide it with this knuckle and my nail, because that way, if something gets chopped and cut, it's only going to gently slice it, or my nail will stop it. The thing is, a lot of people I see cutting like this. This is not good because you can't guide it. It's difficult to move your knife with that. And I see, and if you ever cut yourself here or here, that's because you were holding the knife, holding the ingredient when you're cutting wrong. So you guide like this. We call it a bear claw in the industry. So I'm just going to give this a once over, and then probably once we have this bowl, I might just go one more time just to make sure there's no large chunks. But the thing is, we're going to throw this parsley in at the very end. So I'll say that it doesn't need to be fully, you know, crazy cut, because it's going to wilt and cook into this anyway. So here you go. Look at that. I'm going to hit off any excess parsley leaves. We're good here. Leave it off to the side. All right, so now we got our parsley. Let's go one more time. I'm gonna write, actually maybe 2 more times. 1, 2, and then there. All right, so now the parsley's done. We're gonna put this on our ramekin, and people, we're ready to start cooking. All right, so I'm gonna put this away. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn my stovetop back to medium high. So that's going. I'm gonna give a nice little check on those potatoes, those frites. They're sizzling, they're looking good. That's exactly where it should be right now. I'm gonna put my parsley into my ramekin, or container. We at restaurants call them ramekins. I honestly don't know why or where the derivation of that word comes from, but I love it. I really do. All right, so we got this going. So here's what we got. Right now you should have, if you're following along with me, should have your white wine. I got mine just separated off in a bowl over here. I have my onions, garlic. I have celery, but you can also be using fennel in this case. Got my rough chopped parsley. 2 lemons sliced in half, so 4 lemon halves, and half a pound of butter. This is necessary. A lot of you may be looking at it being like, half a pound? Trust me, the flavor when this melts with the natural kind of juices that come out from the mussels, whew, too good. All right, also you should have some sort of bread, okay? So here's the thing, I want to show you. I have some bread here, okay? This is just like regular sourdough, but I'm going to toast this as well, because once you have like nice toasted, like kind of crispy sourdough and you dip it in the broth that comes from this mole frite, it is insane. The lemon, the butter, the garlic, the white wine, the juices from the mussel, it just melts together to create this harmonious, delicious bite that's so clean and fresh and amazing. So I get excited just thinking about it. So I got my bread. This is definitely something you need, and it literally is just to soak up all that awesome juice from the bottom. That's the only reason for it. All right, so we got our pan hot right here. Let's see if we have any questions before we continue to fire. All right, you're doing a great job feeding the hospital staff. Oh, thank you guys, appreciate it. Someone said no such thing as too much butter. Whoever said that, so true. You couldn't be more right. But more butter, please more butter, okay? All right, where do you get mussels? Oh, great, Ian just tuned in and asked, where do you get more mussels? I'll definitely say you can get more mussels You can get mussels pretty much anywhere now. Like, they're getting a lot more use. So I would say any Whole Foods or specialty markets that and any seafood market guarantees has mussels. All right. So this is going. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys kind of how to pick this up. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to feel and make sure it's nice and hot. Here's a way to test it. Just going to wet my hand and then splash it in. If you hear a nice sizzle, then you know it's hot, you're ready to go. If you throw the water and it just kind of loosely kind of sizzles, then you might want to wait another second. So I'm actually going to probably turn this up to super high heat right now. So this is going to be at the highest it can go. First thing I'm going to do is going to pour about 2 tablespoons of oil. So I know we have the butter, but this actually only a tablespoon probably. I just want a little bit of oil just to get started. And yes, I have a squeeze bottle of oil in my apartment. I'm a chef. Come on, guys. Don't stop it. I get it. So, you also need a spoon to make sure you stir properly. So I got a little wooden spoon right here. Next up, I'm going to throw my onions. Give this a nice little saute. All right. So, sauteed onions coming in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to season this with a little bit of salt and pepper. And you're also going to want, I'll show you this. This is the secret, crushed red pepper, okay? You don't want a lot, just a teaspoon. I'm going to just pinch it off right here. So here's the thing. You don't want this to be crazy spicy, but this little back end kick really helps balance everything out because a lot of sweet and acid are coming in here, so that spice is going to accent everything really well. So I'm going to, on high heat, the onion should be sizzling right now. Stir everything around. You don't need any more excess oil because remember we got half a pound of butter coming in. All right. So you're going to cook it for about 30 to 45 seconds. And what you're looking for is you want to see the edges of the onion start to get like light golden brown. And when you start to see that on most of the onions, then you know you're ready for your next batch of ingredients, which is going to be the fennel or the celery. All right, so I'm noticing that golden brown hue is starting to develop around the edges of the onion. So now that's done, we're going to throw in our celery. So celery can just drop right in. And at this point, we're going to season this with a little bit of salt, okay? So let's take some of our sea salts, Mediterranean sea salts. Throw that in. Just going to lightly toss some in there. Keep in mind, there's a lot of natural salt from the mussels as well, so I don't want to over-season this by any means. I just threw in a little bit because I like to build, and I always preach to my cooks, build, like season as you go, right? So that's how you get layers of flavor. That means when you take a bite, it tastes good. When you eat it and chew it, it tastes good. You swallow it, it tastes good. You exhale, it tastes good. That's because whoever cooked your meal in that case, seasoned as they develop the flavor. So you season from the base all the way up, maybe until the very end. All right, so this is sizzling perfectly. I don't got to worry about any smoke because my balcony door is open. We're going to cook this just for about another 30 to 45 seconds. See if any other questions. What kind of oil are you using? Great question. For the tablespoon of oil that I use a blended olive oil, vegetable oil. What I do is I actually have olive oil and I have vegetable oil. Excuse me. I have vegetable oil and olive oil. So I use the vegetable oil for frying because it has a higher smoke point, meaning it can get hot without it smoking and burning. And then I kind of blend it with olive oil and I put it in my squeeze bottle. All right. So this is looking good. Next up, we're going to throw a quarter of butter. Quarter stick of butter is going to go right in. Just like that. Look at that. It just starts to melt. And now all that flavor is really coming out. So you're going to wait for about maybe 20 seconds. And at that point, keep stirring. And then I'm going to throw in my garlic. I didn't throw in the garlic before that because garlic doesn't retain a lot of moisture, which means it burns very easily, okay? So as you can see, all those fumes coming out, that's just steam. That's water evaporating, leaving amazing flavor in the base of the pan. All right, so when I see that butter really starting to melt, that's when I'll throw in my 2 garlic cloves that have been chopped up. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to stir this around. So now we got fennel or celery, or both. I mean, honestly, onion, some garlic, and a quarter stick of butter. Just all those flavors are melting together and just exactly what you want. We're gonna let that kind of cook and sizzle for about 30 more seconds. Any other questions? How much salt would I include in the onion and celery? So on that base amount, I'd probably put only half a teaspoon. Very little. I just want to put just a little bit so that, like, you know, the flavor kind of comes out, and like I said, you get that nice layering of good flavor and seasoning. Okay, so great question. Keep them coming, guys. Really love answering these. All right, so this is looking really good right now. Next up, the best part, we're gonna throw our mussels in. So I got a pound of PEI mussels right here. And I'm just gonna toss them right in. Here's the beauty about this. Look how easy this is to make, okay? So first let me kind of clean this up real quick. Apologies. Got some mussel juice here. All right, so now that's wiped up a little bit. Everything's looking good. We're just gonna, so now I just put the mussels directly in, and what I'm gonna do is start incorporating the rest of our kind of wet ingredients here. So here we have half a cup of white wine. Pouring that right in. Keep in mind, I've been on high heat this entire time. Now I'm gonna add my lemon. I like this to be like not tart, but really have a nice acid punch. So I'm gonna squeeze 2 whole lemons right in. Okay, so I have one. I got my 2 halves right there. I want to get that awesome lemon flavor because that really like blends well with that seafood. Okay, so that's looking good. So I got 2 lemons juiced right in. You know what? The seeds don't matter to me in this case. I like this dish rustic, so it's okay like to have some of those seeds because you know you're not going to be drinking that bottom juice with any sort of spoon or anything, so I don't mind it. Next, the final quarter pound of butter going right in. Look at that whole stick. Yeah, just put it right in, just like that. All right, so I'm gonna give it one light seasoning here because keep in mind the mussels have a lot of natural salt in them. So I'm just gonna put just a little bit right on top, maybe another half teaspoon. All right, and then just a tad bit of pepper. I know we have that base, but I also like what a pepper brings. Oh my gosh! Right now, all those flavors are starting to melt. You get some of the aromatics of the lemon. The butter should kind of be bubbling right now, and then the white wine as the alcohol kind of evaporates, and then just the mussels are turning into this lovely, lovely mesh of flavor. See, something I learned. You know, I always wonder why certain foods taste better. It's because you need to have a certain touch to be delicate with food. So not all the time do you need 1,000 ingredients to make something delicious. If you just treat food properly and accent the natural flavors, that's how you get an amazing meal. All right. So what else do we got? Is there a kind of salt that I prefer? Great question. So I recommend using kosher salt, not iodized. So the reason why is whenever you're using iodized, it's too small. Like the grains are really small. Thus, when you grab something and season with your hands, you don't know really how much salt you're putting in. Whereas kosher salt, you can feel, so you know how much each grain is going to kind of like dissipate and soak in and like enhance the flavor. So I definitely would go kosher. The only time I ever use iodized is for fries. Speaking of, let's check this out. Oh yeah, all right. So I want to show you guys what this should look like. Okay. So these Yukon Gold potatoes, they're not going to get like, or they're going to get like that nice golden brown, but because they already start off yellow, you want to make sure you balance that properly. All right. So as you can see here, these fries are really coming together. They look amazing, and you can see that like some of the edges are kind of getting nice, a little bit more crispy and golden brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out of the oven, and I'm just going to push them around the base, just so that they have kind of a nice little, so that they don't stick, all right? And at some of these spots, you might notice that they're sticking, which is okay. A little bit of sticking is all right, but you don't want, sometimes that starch can get a little overpowering. All right, so we got this going here. Looking good. Some of it's sticking a little bit, but that's okay. All right, so as you can see, it's boiling right now. It's looking really good. So my mussels are exactly where I want them to be. My fries are almost there as well. Being a little bit fickle with this tin foil, but it's okay. All right, so that looks good. Fries are ready to go. All right, I want to put these back in the oven, like so. Let those finish off in there. Gonna remove my spoon, and I'm gonna put a lid on it, okay? I'm gonna put the lid on. All my juice is boiling. I'm gonna bring it down to medium heat. And I'm gonna let this boil for about 3 or 4 minutes. That's it. 3 or 4 minutes, we'll cut it off, let them rest, let those flavors meld. And in about a minute or two, I'm gonna put my rough chopped parsley in there. Now the reason why you throw the parsley in at the very end is because fresh herbs like this are very delicate. So if you use them at the very beginning, you'll cook out any of that flavor. So you want to smell it, you want to see that vibrant green. So not only does it add like a light hint of herbal note, it also just makes it look good because you want to have that amazing kind of visual when you see like a bowl of steaming clams, or sorry, steaming mussels open with pops of green and yellow and orange and black and white, and it's, you know, it's a visual thing, especially when you eat something like this. All right, so keep the questions coming. This is great. Hope you guys have had fun with me. My name is Jordan Andino. I own a restaurant here in the city, in New York City, called Flip Sigi. It's a Filipino taqueria, and we're making mul frites, which is mussels and fries. All right, so notice, fairly easy to clean and cook. We have our bread right here. I'm gonna make sure to toast off a piece right now. This is sourdough. I swear by it, sourdough's the best, so I'm just gonna throw this in the toaster, get them lightly toasted. Alrighty, so that's going. Our fries are looking really good. So while all that's happening, I'm gonna wash my bowl off so I can toss my fries with a little bit more salt when they come out. Okay, so just a little bit right there. And right now, your kitchen, if you're making this at home with me, your kitchen should be smelling insane. Like, I just smell the garlic, the onion, the celery, some of that butter, just like that natural, almost like, it's like a flavorful seafood smell is just kind of popping out right now. Oh, yeah. Yes. This is making me happy right now. And you can see it, and you see kind of everything evaporate. You can see the steam building up. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah, that looks good. All right, guys, so it's been about 2 to 3 minutes. We're ready to go. And that's also why I love mul frites, because it's so easy to make, it's so quick. So if you're going to restaurants that charge you $35 for them, listen, I understand why restaurants do it. I'm a chef, but you can also make them at home. Just saying. All right, so here you go. Take that off. I'm going to turn this right off. I'm going to let that kind of just settle a little bit more. Now, while it settles, I'm going to throw in my parsley. And I'm going to stir that around. So keep in mind, there's a little bit of carryover cooking that's happening right now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stir this all about. And you're going to see these nice pops of green, and now that kind of herbal note is going to help blend with everything. So I'm just going to do that, and then put the lid right back on and let this sit for a second. In the meantime, I'm going to grab my fries. Oh yeah. Now we're talking, people. Look at these awesome looking fries right here. Oh, I might want to cheat and have a bite. Yep. Now we're talking. Perfectly seasoned. They're seasoned to like 80% right now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to scrape some of this off. I'm going to get rid of my cutting board real quick. Alright, give this a nice wipe right here to my garbage. I'm going to put a towel down so I don't burn anything. I just heard my toast come up as well. Let's move this over. Alright, so now I'm going to just scrape off some of these fries and really get ready for this awesome meal. So simple, yet so delicious. So I'm just going to take these fries, I'm going to put them right here. Ooh, I got some tin foil there. That happens. My bad. All right? Chefs, they cook just like us. All right, so, some of these over here are a lot easier to grab. I'd recommend at home using a spatula. Keep in mind, I'm a chef. My hands pretty much have I'm not grinding. I just don't have any feeling in them. I wish I did. I can't even feel like how soft or hard things are anymore. So it's definitely not something I like or I enjoy about it. But, you know, it comes with the job, okay? All right, so I'm gonna take these fries out. And then for this last bit, I'm gonna throw them with toss them with a little bit of salt. Like so. Oh yeah. All coming together. Some of these are sticking a little bit, but it's okay. It's gotta be patient. They're coming off. They want to come off. All right, so looking good with our fries. So lastly, we're gonna put this off to the side. Here. Okay. And what I love about using good tin foil is that the second you're done, you can just take it off, turn the oven off, and you're good to go. All right. So we have our fries right here. Gonna toss them with just a little bit more salt so that you really bring out that flavor of the Yukon Gold potato. Just lightly, not a lot. Okay. So we got our fries right here. Gonna put them in my serving bowl. Looking good. Gonna try some as well. Oh yeah, perfect. Exactly what you want. And next up, got my bowl here. Now I'm just gonna pour all this directly in. It's gonna be great. Oh, smells so good, people. So here, let me show you how this works. Literally, look at this. You can see that awesome juice coming off, that white wine, garlic, lemon juice, natural juices coming from the mussels themselves. Look at this. Oh yeah. Okay, so look. There's also something that's going to be crazy about this, all right? I'm going to show you. The reason why food pictures, okay, the reason why they look good is because, so here's a nice little secret. Okay, first notice I didn't put all the mussels in there, okay? Next up, the reason why food pictures look good is because of excessive amounts of it, okay? When people are cooking at home and they take a picture, sometimes, yes, it looks great, or it may look great to the eye, but it doesn't look good on camera because pictures need to have things look full, okay? So, quick little lesson, all right? We have only 7 minutes left, so I'm gonna give you a little lesson here, okay? Here you have it, moule, frites, everything looking good. You can take this, you can dip it in. Not just that, we got our awesome toast over here, lightly toasted. I'm gonna put it right on the side here. All right, look at that. Look how good that looks. So the reason why this looks so delicious is because the bowl fits, or actually doesn't quite fit how much food is in here. So taking pictures, so this is a little picture lesson for all of you at home, okay? We all have our smartphones. Everyone can do this. If you want to make something look amazing, fill it. So the bowl should, if the bowl was any bigger, this wouldn't look as good. This looks good because you can see all these different levels and layers. You can notice that as you see it, it's almost spilling out. That means it shows that there's a lot of it and it's steaming and the colors are great. So there's a lot of things you have to take into account before the picture is even taken, okay? Next up, just do me a favor, please. Don't take a picture with a flash. Okay, so when you do something, don't just take a picture with a flash. Put some extra light on it. All the light coming off from here will make it too harsh and really bring out some of the imperfections. You want a lot of light or even natural light so that it softens some of the harsh elements but brightens the best parts of it. Next up, when you're taking a picture, get close to it, okay? A lot of people kind of take a picture just like this, far away. When you come in, get a nice picture. So watch this. I'm going to make sure that we post this. But I'm going to use my camera right now to take an amazing picture of the mussels and fries. Now look at the angle, okay? This is how it should look. Wait. Hold on. There you go. Look at that. We got the sunlight in the back, and we got this bountiful amount of mussels. Oh yeah, that's how we're talking, people. There it is. And also, the top-down shot never fails. Look at that. All right. And there you have it. Moule frites, people. Moule frites. So we got our Yukon Gold potatoes here. We have our mussels. We got our lightly toasted bread. Believe me, I put one long slice of bread here for all these mussels. I'm probably gonna need 6 or 7 more. It's okay. It's fine. Go ahead. We're at home right now. Just dig in, indulge. No one's gonna judge you here. Hope you guys had fun. First of all, let's see if there's any other leftover questions. At the end, I release the recipe. Do I use salted or unsalted? All right, so great questions. Number one, did I use salted or unsalted butter? For those of you who tuned in a little bit later, I touched on that in the beginning. I use unsalted butter always. Salted butter is typically used for baking. I like to use unsalted butter because I need to be able to see and feel how much salt is going into it. You don't know when you're using unsalted or when you're using salted butter. Next up, am I posting the recipe? Yes. So if you want to follow me for this recipe, all of my social media. So at I'm Chef Jordan Andino on Facebook, but on Twitter and Instagram I am fork_knife, fork_knife, and follow me, and you'll definitely be able to get this recipe within the next couple of days. And then also, yes, celebrating our food photography lesson. I had a blast. I hope you guys did too. It's 1:55 already. Or not 4:56. This is crazy, guys. Can't believe it. Hope everyone here had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed everything we're doing. Quickly to recap some of the things that we talked about today. My name is Chef Jordan Andino. I own a restaurant here in the city called Flip Sigi. It's a Filipino taqueria, so Filipino foods with Mexican vessels, sandwiches, tacos, bowls, and burritos. Filipino love sprinkled all about. It's my baby. It's small. We're still delivering and doing takeout. Not only that, I have my cookbooks right here. So in the bottom of the carousel, you'll actually see them. You can see the French Laundry Cookbook, which is, the French Laundry Cookbook. I worked there. It's the best restaurant in the world when I did. I respect Thomas Keller, and it's kind of the basis on which I refer to all of my inspiration. Number two, on the carousel, you'll see In Defense of Food, Michael Pollan, great book. Now, just because it makes you think about the supply chain, it makes you think about how to eat and why people eat healthy or not. And then also, we have Under Pressure, also by Thomas Keller. It's a book about sous vide. Sous vide cooking is where you put something in an anaerobic environment, meaning you take out all the air and put it in like a plastic bag, and you put that plastic bag inside of water that's heated to the temperature you want the food to cook at. So if you want steak at 135 degrees, put it in a bag, seal it, don't let any water in, put that whole bag into water, and then there's this thing called a circulator that heats the water to 1/100 of a degree, thus getting you a perfect temperature, internal temperature of steak. It's a little complicated, but it's fun, and that's how a lot of these top restaurants on the world use. And then last but not least, we also have Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. May he rest in peace. I loved that book. It's such an accurate and amazing depiction of what goes on in kitchen life. And it's something that I've read 3 times actually. So definitely make sure to cop that. And I hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you tune in next week, Amazon.com/live. I'll be here again. Also, all my other chef friends are going to be there. And today we made moule frites. So here's the moule, which is French for mussels, with some onion, celery, garlic, parsley, lemon juice, white wine. We got our bread to dip on the side. Taught you guys how to take a nice picture. And then, of course, some of our homemade fries, which are delicious, by the way. So that's it. Hope everyone had fun. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. And guess what? You're the best. Go home and cook. Use your mind. It's all fun. And listen, nothing's wrong. Just taste and eat and love your family. All right, guys. Peace. Thank you so much.